Our first month in Cleveland, we did 6.8 million. How about that?
That's amazing.
Cleveland really has low price points. My God.
Jason, I telling you, I had an old coach. He's like, if you want to make more money, move. Cleveland is painful. I had a guy I spoke with. He's like, Joel, I don't know how you do it because I forget about commission checks that are below 10 grand. I forget about them.
Dude, I thought Detroit was low. Cleveland's lower than Detroit.
Kill me. I think I'm going to go back to Chicago. Seriously, I just can't. It's a grind.
Didn't you just close 2.75 million? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's an outlier. That's why I want
to. That's going to up your average for the next year at least.
You're the number one agent in Ohio, Joel. You're the number one agent in all of Ohio right now currently.
For this month. That's right.
I'll tell you, it's low. But you know what? It is true. And like Brian's in a market that there's a lot of lower price points too. Detroit, Tucson, where Rudy's at. Sam's in like creme de la cremeville in Washington, D.C. Like it doesn't get much better than where Sam's at. But look, it's part of the deal, unfortunately, like we have to take our market and that's why scalability and leverage become important because it doesn't like even JMG's model, our average purchase price is 460,000 and that's your typical blue collar consumer right now buying a home. All you do is you got to create leverage and scalability so you can just transact a lot. But I will tell you this, I will take a lot of transactions over less higher price transactions all day long. And the reason that is transactions lead to more transactions, lead to more transactions. In order to be in business, you have to be transactional. In bowling, they say, pick up your spares and strikes will come. You just got to strike. You just got to turkey. But you got to do your spares. You got to do the twos. You got to do the 150s because those are the ones that pays the bills. But when you can scale it and create leverage, now all of a sudden you can drop a lot more. And I would much rather have 50 people at a $200,000 purchase price for 10 million than 10 people at 1 million each in my book of business. I would, because the book's more valuable because of the transactions. So, but it's hard because here's the other side of it too. You work just as hard for a $200,000 deal as you do a $2 million deal. And quite frankly, a lot of times you work harder on the $200,000 deal than you do the $2 million.
You do. And I hate to say it, I spoke with Brian. He turned me on to, even though there's junk, Zillow, Redfin partner agent. And I'm jealous that the connection, because he can scale with Zillow. I don't have the scalability to even raise my hand to be part of that. But the reality is I turn away so many leads just because I get so much 60,000, 80,000. By the time I know it's a split, I walk away with 800, 1,200 bucks. And it's, Zillow's not the algorithm. They're going to hate me because I'm going to turn down 90% of them. Redfin hates me. I turn down, but I'm not driving around to make 800 to 1,500 bucks with the brain damage. So
no. And even at like, if it's that low, 60 and 80, you can't even bring on overhead and give them enough to where that split for you becomes relative because you'll still lose money on the overhead. Like, and you know what? If you got good partners, they understand that, they understand that, hey, we get it. But if they don't, then they're lying to themselves. But like $60,000 and $80,000 consumers, I'm sorry, like it's hard for them to get service just because that's just the way it works. Like not paying you a referral fee and then, everything else with it. But leverage is important though, it really is important. So scalability and being transactional, it's super, super important. But no, to do those numbers, we had to do like 40 some transactions. I was like, what? I can do 16 million on 40 transactions, not 6. That's crazy.
I'm real curious how you scale and grow. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys, if you're paying a 70-30, you also have an override to JMG, like a 30%. So net, the agent walks away with around 48%.
Around
the average purchase.
Around 40%.
40. So as the average home price, let's call it 200, with in Northeast Ohio, an adverse commission split of a 3-2, 3 on the first 100, 2 thereafter. They're making gross $5,000 on a $200,000 house. They're going to be walking away with $2,000. You got to do a shit ton of business to put food on the table. So your model is interesting, But I'm very curious how challenging it'll be to recruit people with the 40% net split with this price point.
Well, I've done it in Tucson, Detroit. I've done it in a lot of markets.
Tucson is twice as much as here, right? Tucson is average price point is 300-400, right?
No, Tucson's average purchase price is, what did you say, Rudy? Probably 225.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Detroit's about 210. Detroit and
What are the guys do? About 210. Deal flow wise, what are these guys doing? I mean, with the lead volume they're giving them, are they able to do, on average 40, 50 deals a month, or excuse me, a year?
Yeah. That's
Our
good.
average price point is above 300 now.
Is it really?
Congrats. Maybe I'll move over to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you got to give them abundance, but you got to work really hard, right? Because closing 5 transactions a month, whether that's 200 grand or $1 million each, you're working the same. And so, they're working really hard. There's no question. But look, you choose to live in Detroit. You choose to live in Detroit. You choose to live.
I gotta move. You're right. You're right.
But it's scary because here's the other side of that too. Better now than later, because it doesn't get better. Like uprooting and moving to it. See, that's the one cool thing about JMG is that if you move and you move into a market that we're in, you can just pick up where you left off because we feed the funnel. And so that's nice. Like if you live in Florida and you want to move to California, we got you. You want to move to Arizona, you want to move to Utah, you want to move to wherever. Like it's nice because if you move as an agent, like if Brian left St. Louis and decided to move to Austin, Texas, he's going to start all over. I mean, that's hard.
No, I don't. I just signed up with JMG.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like the reality is you gotta start over, and it's hard. I mean, so like your intrepidation of moving to Chicago, just know that you got me, and we do a shitload of business in Chicago. And the price.
When the time comes, we'll talk.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, you've been saying that for a year and a half now, Joel. I don't know. I don't think you're ever moving. If you want to add.
They dangled these big stock options and rev shares. So I'll give it to the end of the year to see what the hell happens.
Yeah, they're all dangling. So does EXP, yet their stock today's trading at $12.10 a share. They're down 90% in the past 6 months.
Crazy. Yeah, real brokerage is selling. Same thing.
The money in real estate will always be made from commissions, not these phantom shares and options and things like that. Don't misconstrue yourself. They'll always be made from commissions and creating powerful teams and companies that the money's in the commissions, period, end of story. Don't care what anybody says. You can tell me, I'm going to give you this. Unless you're the double, triple, quadruple, diamond, second person in line, it ain't going to work out. And I hate that. I was going to do a post on this too. And I'm not saying they're chasers, so don't get me wrong with this, but I see my one buddy that's like Glenn's right-hand guy at EXP, and clearly he's doing well because he was one of the very first people at EXP. But all these people chase. So their whole recruiting model is come on board, and they dangle this carrot like you just said. It's all like MLMs do, right? It's just like people that pop in and out of businesses. Credit card processing was a thing for a few years. Everybody ran to credit card processing. Then it became ATMs. ATM dealers were making a shitload of money. Everybody started chasing ATMs. Now it's NFTs and all this other stuff. The people that chase, the people that don't stay put and have longevity in what they do, they'll always chase because for whatever reason in their mind, they got to find a way to make a quick buck. We all know people like this. No matter what's going on that's new, crypto, they chase crypto. Oh, I'm going to be a crypto expert. You don't know shit about crypto, but they'll chase it. And then 2 years later, they're on to the next thing. Instead of what they should have been doing for those 2 years is building the business that they know and do well, but they don't. That's why to me, where I've made my mistakes, whenever I take my eyes off of JMG, I make mistakes. I've gotten Craig's on the call. I got in coffee shops with him. That was a mistake. I've done other businesses, bars, restaurants. That was a mistake. When I started flipping a bunch of houses, it was a mistake. I'd make money on those flips, but the money I made on the flips versus the time that it took me to complete those flips and get it to the table. And after you slice and dice it all, it wasn't worth it. And I realized that to myself. I should just be focusing on what I do really, really well. And that's sell real estate. And when we find that that's what our main focus is, and you start making more money, then you start investing in things that don't take your time. You just invest your money, not your time, into things like real estate investments, not fix and flips that take your time. Wholesaling contracts, that doesn't take a ton of time. Sun falls in your lap, wholesale it. That's easy stuff. But the point is, we all know these chasers and these people out there that constantly are on to the next thing. Don't be those people. Don't. I'm telling you, because if you've known them for a while, how many different things have they tried and they still haven't cracked the code? It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So I don't know, man. Like I said, EXP, all these people, they can waive stock options, phantom equity, all that other shit in front of me as much as they want, as much as they can. The money in real estate is in the commissions.